Hello everybody, I'm Eriksen and welcome back to the Red Devils podcast. Lots to talk about. We'll be talking about Anthony Martial in his interview, Christian Eriksen, Jude Bellingham as how Man United are favourites to sign him next summer, and Eriktenhag and the training ground drills are very much the talk of the town these days. So we'll be talking about that. I hope you're having a good day, much better than Man United players because every fucking football team is playing a game this weekend, but Man United are not. Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal are top of the table, and they are playing their game this weekend. If they win it, and Man City wins their game, they'll be like 6 to 9 points above us, and that's pretty much disappointing. I mean, sure, we'll be having game in hands, but game in hands in the second half of the season when it's going to be pretty much hectic for us, because we'll be having, if we are in still Europa League, then we'll be having a Europa League, FA Cup and Premier Leagues, and these matches are pretty much exhausting and tiring, and we all know that Man United lack depth. Man United doesn't have a big squad, and if there is a big squad, that includes a bunch of Elanga, McTominay, Phil Jones, and surprisingly they lead Harry Maguire, so that's going to be really disappointing for us. But anyways, let's move on to the bigger stuff. Eriktenhag, I must say, I really need to, do this for Eriktenhag. Eriktenhag is actually going tough in the training drills. He's making every Man United player who's in the first team or in the squad, he's making them play with their weaker foot. They are constantly having weaker foot drills in the training ground, and he's getting tougher and tougher. This is like music to my ears. This is like the best thing that could happen to a Man United player, because these players are definitely, they have potential, but these players lack discipline. These players lack the motivation to become a superstar, to become a footballing legend, because everybody knows Marcusrashford is a great player. He has an amazing talent. Everybody knows Scott McTominay can definitely be a box to box or a central defensive midfielder. Dello was actually out of the picture. Everybody assumed that Dello was going to be out of the Man United squad, and look what happened to Dello once Eriktenhag arrived, because Eriktenhag is a manager who knows everything about coaching, and because of those coaching, those instructions, those guidance, Dello is now the Premier League Man United starter, and he's definitely gonna play a great season, I'm sure of it. For me, I think he's the most developed and evolving team player, because definitely Scott McTominay, Marcusrashford, they are like growing, they are developing, but the biggest player, the biggest change I've seen in the Man United squad is Dello. I mean, I was surprised to see that he could bench Wan-Bissaka, because Wan-Bissaka was pretty much great at defensive work. He lacked some aggressive talent. He couldn't bring better curls, or you should say assist, but still I think Dello has improved a lot. Dello has done some great amazing training drills, and when you say these things now, that Man United, Eriktenhag is making Man United players go tough on the training drills, and they are playing with the weaker foot. As a football player, you need to master that talent. You need to work on your weaker foot, because if you can play with both the feet, you will gonna be an amazing player. Look at Cristiano Ronaldo, look at Messi. You think these guys can play with one foot? No, they can play with, in fact, Messi and Ronaldo, they can play with their whole body, including, let's not talk about that. This is a Man United fan channel, and I don't want to get into the derogatory stuff. But the point is, if Eriktenhag is making them work harder, and he's going tougher on them, that is a brilliant thing, because before him, we had managers like Rangnick, Solskjaer, and we're going to talk about Solskjaer a little bit later, and Mourinho. Mourinho was way past his good times, because when Mourinho signed for Man United, he was already almost finished, and he couldn't do wonder. He wasn't the special one anymore. We have seen that when he signed for Roma and even Spurs. So that was the biggest problem with Man United managers. They couldn't. Van Gaal was a very good one. Van Gaal trained. In fact, when we're going to talk about Anthony Martial, I'm going to mention Van Gaal also. Van Gaal was a very good coach, and that is why he left Man United. He was definitely sacked by Man United, but he never, he couldn't do anything because he lacked backing from the board. When he wanted to sign different players, he wasn't backed by the management, and then he couldn't make changes because most of the players when he had were like Rooney and Ashley Young. They were already past their prime, and you can't just make lemonade out of every lemon. Alex Ferguson was a different manager, so let's not talk about that great guy. But let's talk about the training drills, and as I mentioned, Eriktenhag is going tougher on the training drills, and he's making them play with a weaker foot. He has already added many of the different drills that Man United players were not interested. Let's go with the word interested with the previous managers, but he's making them do it, and that's really great because I really want Man United players to work harder on the footballing field, because we have seen this time and time again. Whenever these players are under pressure, they just can't play an attacking game. They just can't create something out of nothing. That is the biggest lacking, or that is the biggest issue of Man United players. They can't just create out of nothing. They need one touch, two touch, and they need some amazing performances from one or two players of the team. Then only the whole team plays a brilliant brand of football, and that's very disappointing because you need every 11 player to play at their best. And if Eriktenhag is doing things like this, I am damn happy. And everybody knows Eriktenhag is by far the best manager we have hired since Alex Ferguson, and I really want Eriktenhag to succeed in the Premier League. I want him to be at Man United for at least 3 to 5 years, because I know if he's going to stay here for 3 to 5 years, we'll definitely be a title contenders and we'll definitely win something. I really hope that these training drills are great, and British media and every other Man United ex-legend or ex-player, they just don't sort of go at Eriktenhag that he's making them work hard. He's not a very good manager. He doesn't know how to manage individuals. I just hope that they don't act like an imbecile and do something stupid and say words against Eriktenhag, because I think he's doing a great work, and I really want him to stay at Man United for at least 3 to 5 years. And that's, I know, because then it's gonna make a big difference for us. Moving on, we're going to talk about Dalot's situation, because we all know Dalot has improved great lately, and now we can see the potential of him becoming the right back. We actually signed him from Porto, so I'm really glad with his situation, but unfortunately he's out of contract this summer. I actually assumed that we have an option of further year, but no, we signed him in 2018. And this summer he'll be out of contract. That means from January every club can approach him, or he can approach them and talk to them. So that's gonna be a bit of challenge. I really want him to stay. I really want Dalot to be the attacking right back of Man United defense line. And I think soon they're going to be a talk to Dalot with the contract situation, because they need to offer him a contract way before international break ends. Because once he comes back from international games, I want him to focus on Premier League games and not the money matter. So I really want Man United to do that. Let's hope that this contract situation gets over. Another thing that I would really like to talk about is Jude Bellingham before we move on to the bigger stuff. Jude Bellingham was actually mentioned by Fabrizio Romano that it was very unlikely that he was supposed to sign for Man United. It was because he always had his thoughts on Dortmund. I think that's bollocks, because we all know this. Jude Bellingham was in Carrington. He met Sir Alex. He met Solskjaer, and we had clips of them. If he wasn't interested in Man United, he would have never visited Carrington, and he would have never met Sir Alex. So if somebody is approaching the media, or is a media person like Fabrizio Romano, I mean, he's a great journalist. I have nothing against him. But if you're gonna say the stuff that Jude Bellingham was not interested in signing with Man United, I think that's just a way of covering up something, because everybody knows he was interested. He was in Carrington. He met Sir Alex, and the only problem with the package of that transfer window was Solskjaer was at that time, and everyone knows Solskjaer was an inexperienced manager. He never understood the needs of a developing player. He could easily manage Ronaldo. He could easily manage Sancho or somebody like that, but he could never do what Eriktenhag has done with Dalot. So you need someone like that. And Jude Bellingham, when Man United approached him, was an 17 or 18-year-old kid. So he also has some footballing sense, and he needs a manager who can develop him. And besides that, Man United have been struggling for past 10 years. You can't just approach a player who actually has a great talent in his footballing sense, and you just can't expect him to sign for you just because you're a Man United and you are the biggest club in the world. Doesn't make a difference to footballing world. I mean, you're a big club. We are a fan of Man United, but let's face it, Manchester United have been struggling for the past 10 years, and no developing player will sign for you unless it's a step up, and he has no other option because Dortmund were offering him that we're gonna be at least title contenders for the league, and we're gonna be playing in Champions League pretty much every year. So there's one team who's offering you Champions League football and a Premier League title, sorry, not Premier League, their league, Bundesliga, and title contendership, and there's Man United who's offering you Europa League, or maybe not even Europa League at that point of time, and Premier League matches. And even in those matches, you're not a definitive starter, because obviously they're gonna pick Scott McTominay because he's licking their ass for ages. So that was the biggest disappointment, and as of now, there are many outlets like Sky Sports and a few more others. I can't remember their names, but they have been mentioning Jude Bellingham as Man United are favourites to sign Jude Bellingham. If that's gonna happen, I'll be really happy, because no doubt he's without a shadow of doubt, Jude Bellingham is a superstar. He has been developing quite a bit, because I've seen him playing Champions League, I've seen him playing Bundesliga, so he's definitely a great addition. If he gets into the Man United midfield, I think he'll be a big plus, because he's a very great player and he's still young. He's around 21 or 21, I guess. He's 21 or 22. So I think he's a very great player. He'll be a great addition to Man United midfield, because let's face it, Fred, even if Eriktenhag does weaker foot training drills, first he needs to make Fred play with his right foot or left foot, because we all know he's a left-footed player, but he still can't play with it. His first touch is pathetic. Scott McTominay, he just plays hot potato. So you need to have a bigger midfield, and if Bellingham signs for United next summer, I'll be very happy with it. I think he's a nice player. He's a great player in terms of box-to-box midfielding. I still don't think he's the solution for defensive midfield, but still I think he'll be a great addition. And because he's still young, he's 2021. If you want him to play a defensive midfielder, he can learn that position. And like I said, Eriktenhag has been training them. He's developing them. If there's a little bit of chance that Eriktenhag can convert Bellingham into a box-to-box from a box-to-box into the defensive midfielder, I think that will be a big boost for United midfield, because you'll be having a player who's around 21, 22, and you can sign him for at least 5 years, and then you can see what happens in the future. So that will be a big addition for us. And because we are talking about we talked about Dalot, Bellingham, now let's talk about another English superstar, Marcusrashford. Unfortunately, Rashford has picked up a knock. It's not sure whether it's going to hamper the season or hamper some of the games of Man United, but he has picked up a knock. He hasn't trained with the team yesterday, and I really hope it's not big of a deal, because like it or not, he's a great player. We need him, because in the lacking department, even if we play Sheriff FC. It's either Sheriff FC or FC Sheriff. I'm really not sure about it, because we have a Europa League game this Thursday night. So even if Rashford doesn't play with him, and because we have like a month of week off from the Premier League football, so I think it will be really good for Marcus Rashford to get some rest, and I really want him to be back with his full fitness, because he's an amazing player. He's a flair player from Man United attacking line, and I need him on the left wing. I'm pretty much confident that he's gonna again play in the centre forward position, so I don't have a problem with that. I want him to play in the left wing, but if he has picked up or not, many people were actually predicting this, that he has picked up a hamstring injury or something like that. I really hope that it's not an hamstring injury, because I just want him to be there week in week out, because we really need Rashford, Ronaldo, Sancho and Martial. And because now we are starting the Martial content, let me just pick up my notes, and let me just tell you, we have an injury update also, because Eriktenhag there are leaks from Man United, because everybody knows Man United leaks like I can't find a right example for Man United leaking news, but still, Man United is a very leaky footballing team, and that's a nice word, leaky. But anyways, Anthony Martial and Donny van de Beek are supposedly back in training. Anthony Martial is doing his drills, and he'll be back by 20th September, so that's probably basically the end of the month, like I said in the previous video. So if he's back by 20th September, he'll still be having a couple of weeks to train himself with the team for the Man City game, because if anybody has checked fixtures in the Man United app, we face FC Sheriff, FC Sheriff, thank God I remember that. We face FC Sheriff on the Thursday night, and then after that the first Premier League game we'll be facing is Manchester Derby. So if he is getting 2 weeks of preparation for the Man City game, I'm really happy, because I want him to start that game. I want him as the centre forward, Rashford on the wing and Sancho or Antony on the right. I really want that to happen, because we all know Man City are good with their defense, and if we have a striker who can play a hold-up game, I really want that. Anthony Martial is great, and now because we are talking about Anthony Martial, I'm sorry, I think I'm forgetting about the Donny van de Beek situation. Actually, Donny van de Beek and Luke Shaw, both of them are supposedly recovering well. Donny van de Beek was supposed to play for Sociedad game, or maybe the Leeds United. I'm not sure, but still, Donny van de Beek is back. Luke Shaw is still recovering, but he'll soon be back. So I think he'll be back. He'll also be back by the end of this month. And Martial, like I said, it will be back by 20th September. And now, because we are talking about Anthony Martial, let's go with the interesting. Let's go with the word interesting. He did an interesting interview with the French football, and where he talked about Man United, Solskjaer, even Van Gaal and Mourinho. And I really want to quote this, so let me just get this clearly. It was a big interview. I'm just quoting about the part where we want to talk about. He was actually asked that whether many critics and pundits have been talking that Anthony Martial is a lazy player. Sometimes he doesn't look interested. Sometimes he doesn't look that motivated to play for Manchester United. Is that a problem? Is that the problem? Is that the basic condition, the way he's playing these days? And to this, Anthony Martial replied, the last 2 seasons, I'm really gonna quoting this, so please bear with me. The last 2 seasons I've regularly played injured. People don't know that. I couldn't accelerate during the 4 months following the COVID season. Coach Solskjaer tells me that he needs me, so I played. Given my game, if I can't accelerate, it becomes very complicated and I get set on fire. The coach never bothered to tell the media, obviously. I end up getting injured to good, and when I came back, I was finished. I don't play anymore. I took it very badly. I had a feeling of injustice because you're asked to sacrifice yourself for the team and behind you are dismissed. For me, it's almost treachery. That's all I hate. I can be blamed, but not for being fake. When he was talked about his body, asked about his body language, he mentioned this. Basically, I have to display my disappointment after a missed opportunity so that people say, he doesn't really care. I'll tell you simply, I'm a footballer and not an actor. These statements made by Anthony Martial, I wish he had made these statements way back when he was recovering, or maybe sometimes before Solskjaer was sacked, or even the time when he was loaned out to Sevilla for for 6 months spell. Because this is the problem from Man United dressing room, because everybody knew about this, that Solskjaer was making them play continuously. We had the same conversation when Rashford was playing week in week out and was carrying many injuries. He had a shoulder injury, he had an hamstring injury, and still he was playing week in week out. Everybody wanted Rashford to take a month vacation and just come back fully fit, but that wasn't supposed to happen, because Solskjaer lacked depth. I am not blaming Solskjaer for it, because he was an inexperienced manager. But this is what we have been talking for the past 3 to 6 years. I'm sorry, 3 to 4 years. 3 to 4 years, because Man United team lack depth. So if you have great players, flair players in your team, so you want them to play every week, and when the board doesn't back you in signing superstars from other teams and signing players from other teams, your only option is to play your starting 11, first 11. And we all know this. Solskjaer played his first 11 for 3 months consecutively when he was signed as an interim manager. When he signed, for the first 3 months we played attacking football, great football, but unfortunately the players got exhausted. And after 3 months, we all know, we picked up injuries. Solskjaer couldn't do anything tactically because he was an inexperienced manager. He couldn't handle Man United. And then what happened? We ended from the second or third position, we ended up on 4th. Because in the latter parts, we couldn't even look up for win. We couldn't even look up for draws. We were actually defeated by Liverpool and Chelsea, and that was very disappointing. And I think the blame goes to the board, but many people will be blaming Solskjaer. And like he mentioned, Solskjaer couldn't even bother to tell this to the media, and that is where the biasness comes towards the English player and the rest of the footballing players. When it's an English player, the Man United media, the British outlets, everybody start praising them. Oh my God, they are playing week in, week out, and they are carrying injury, and still they are giving everything for the team. But when it comes to the international players who are coming from other teams, nobody gives a fuck about them, and that is very disappointing. That is very disappointing, because Anthony Martial, when signed for Man United, he was a genuine number 9, and if he had Eriktenhag at that point of time, I'm pretty much confident about this, he would have been a footballing great as of now. Because when he signed, he scored 17 goals under him. After that, he scored 17 goals under Louis van Gaal, and he also mentioned Louis van Gaal as he was a great manager. He made him sit and watch his videos and what's the problem for in his game. And that is what a proper coach or manager does for his player who's actually developing. He mentioned this when he came back for Mourinho, when he came back for Solskjaer. They couldn't respect him, and they couldn't even do anything about his development, and that what hampered his footballing performance. And when you are playing a match, for Premier League match, which is quite competitive and exhausting, if you're not up to 100% in your fitness, you can't be the game changer, and that is what has actually hampered his footballing. I think so, because I still like Anthony Martial, I still like Rashford, but there are many times when we've seen their performances and we wanted them to take vacation, to take rest, and then come back as a fully fit player, because Premier League demands 100% level of fitness. Because if you are just there for like 10%, even if 5% is off, 10% is off in your performance, you can't play for 90 minutes, and you need players who can play for 90 minutes week in, week out. So you really need to be fit, and that was very disappointing. And things that Martial said in his interview, they were not, I don't think so they are fake, because we have all seen Solskjaer play players every single game, whether they are picking up knocks, whether they are doing something or not. That was very disappointing. But anyways, let's not talk about this video has been going for quite a long time, so let's not dwell into the details. Next thing I want to talk about Christian Eriksen, and Christian Eriksen did a fine interview on the Man United app. If you haven't watched it, please watch it. It's a great interview. He's been talking about how he overcame that heart disease, and then everybody, including me, everybody in the world, when saw that incident, everybody prayed for him that we want him to get back, and from getting them back and going to play for Brentford as a Premier League player, and then signed as Man United player, that's a very big step up. And he is actually mentioning that it's a step up from Brentford, and I was pretty much surprised when Man United wanted to sign me. And of course, Brentford never wanted him to leave, but that's some kind of an offer that he never wanted to refuse after what happened in his life. So it's a quite good interview, and I think Christian Eriksen is a very important player for our midfield. The calmness and the experience, maturity that he brings into that midfield, I think we really need that, because Bruno, being a flair player, just if you want him to attack, he's gonna attack. He's gonna create something out of this. But if you want somebody experienced and calm, we really need Christian Eriksen for that. And I think he has been a great signing for us. I think definitely Antony scored on his debut, and there are many other. Casemiro has been doing good. Martinez is one of the best signings of Man United for the past 5 to 6 years in the defense line. But still, I think what Christian Eriksen is bringing in the footballing, in the midfield of Man United, that's something rare, and I really want that. I really want him to do well in the footballing ground. I'm pretty much confident he can't play every week, but I think he's going to be a great addition to this footballing team, and I think he's going to be at least a nomination for the Premier League, not Premier League, Man United Player of the Year. Anyways, let's wrap this up. We'll be having another video soon, because I think there are some more rumors about Man United, and we on Thursday night we'll be having a match, so we're going to talk about that also. Until then, please take care of yourself. Have a great day. Please enjoy, and please subscribe. It's free of cost. Nobody's charging you. Just if you're watching the video, please subscribe to it. Do some charity for the beggars. Okay, I'm a beggar only, so do some charity for the beggars also. Till then, please take care of yourselves. Stay connected. Bye bye.